Here goes nothing. This is the time things might explode. Rattly. Guy said it's not like it's not working, but there's something wrong with it. So, I think we're ready to blow another fuse. Let's plug in the cable first. Well, they just keep on piling up. City. London City, 100 watts. It's not getting any better as far as wattage is concerned. Non-working, sold as is. First gimmick was replacing this fuse, which is 4 amps, even though clearly says on the back here, fuse 2 amps. So that's fun. I just happen to have one more 2 amp fuse on hand, and let's pop that in before we check anything else. Here's a basic look at the back of the amp, but this is not the first time. Same one in the Selmerai. I encountered these kind of like haphazard ways of attaching the chassis into the head. I don't see what the use is if these main screws don't support it. We'll see what's wrong with these, and this is not gonna help much, huh? Yeah, why would they put these screws in if not to sort of attach this chassis that's all in there just dangling about? Go here. Let's get it out. Transformers seem to be in good condition. The power tubes are an odd bunch of Softec electro harmonics. This is seemingly an unmarked tube where the markings have burned off, and this is another Softec. However, first preamp tube, Tonestack, Chono. And another journal. Here is the inside. Looks all very neat and very original. The fuse actually is okay. Let's see. Maybe it's okay because it's a 15 amp fuse. Who knows? 3.15 amps. Should be like 500 milliamps. 800 milliamps. Could be even smaller, but that will have to do. It's better than 3.15. High voltage fuse here is original to the schematic. Some of the other things probably aren't, like this canned capacitor. I was gonna read some dates off of that. It's made in France, and as you can see, it's been replaced, as probably is also the other one, but that one's underneath. I think this is probably Marshall style of filament wiring, the green and red wires here. Not twisted, even though on the preamp tubes they are tightly twisted. The green and the red down there. Also, it's like the guy said, it's not like it's not working, but there's something wrong with it. So the main input jack is loose. That's shielded wiring going off of the input jack, and as it should be, it's only grounded on one side, and that's the basic ground connection for inputs 1 and 1.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, the other one. No. Okay.
Taking a close-up of the pots, you can see how they originally had much longer shafts, and they've been broken off or sawed off, I don't know, sawn off by the builder. As there's nothing apparently clearly wrong with this amp, and the user said, the previous owner said that it did turn on, I'm gonna try and fire up the amp without the tubes in place, measure out some voltages. I did find a schematic for this amp, which you can see right now, and it's quite a simple circuit. It does contain some voltages, so let's measure the voltages without the tubes in place. They will be a little bit higher than indicated on the schematic without the tube load installed, but it will give us some indication of how things are going. Oh. Can like hear the mains transformer. We won't get higher voltages than the one I've seen in before I changed that, and that was like the B plus 460 without tubes installed. So this is the time things might explode. On off button. Yes, I'm very concerned about the noise on the power transformer. Let's get all this out of the way. Got a speaker connected to the 8 ohm tap. I see filament voltage on all tubes except for one, and that's the middle one. So, do you have sound at all? Oh, now that was the on-off switch. Oh, there goes the fuse, or not? Still. Is the light gone out? question is, of course, do we blow the mains fuse or the high voltage fuse? That's gonna be exciting. But we did notice. Okay, this one's okay. That's gonna be the high tension fuse inside. Whoa, this is not just like the fuse popped, it's destroyed, annihilated. It's gone to meet its big fuse box in heaven. Yeah, put in a new fuse, 1 amp. It should take 1 amp. I switched the tube pairs around, so the inner ones are now the outer ones, and vice versa. So I'm not gonna put on the high voltage at all. I just want to see that tube socket number like 2. See that work and see whether we get filament voltage on all the tubes or not, whether the problem moves with the tube or stays with the socket. That's the first thing I want to do. So let's plug in the cable first. Okay, I really saw the light. I was under the impression, or I just supposed that this was the mains fuse. It's not the mains fuse. This is the high voltage fuse. This is the mains fuse. This is not original to the amp. I think in this constellation. Anyway, the values of these 2 fuses should be switched. The schematic that we were looking at does have this mains fuse drawn in, but it's like circled with dotted lines, so I think this is a modification done to the amp. If we look at some pictures of other similar amps online, we don't see this second fuse in those pictures, and that was what I was thinking, considering the construction of the fuse. But this is very confusing. Okay, the fuses are switched. This is gonna make a difference because we had a 800 milliamperes fuse on the mains. Now we have a 2 amp on the mains and a 1 amp on the high voltage line. Let's see what happens. We need to think about checking that power tube that wasn't getting any filament voltage the other time around. I'm not gonna turn on the the high voltage immediately. Let's check for the filament current, especially in all the power tubes first. It clearly says 2 amp fuse, so that's the value we would use in a 100 watt Marshall head as mains fuse, not as high voltage fuse, but that's what it is. I don't know, maybe somebody has been messing with this amp. I do think so. I'm still looking around for more pictures of similar amps. Here goes nothing. Again, that suspicious noise. It's not a ticking noise. But I think we do have power, but not on all tubes. Is it now? Yeah, maybe it was a faulty tube after all. I see nothing on the outer tubes. It's quite hard to see, but also that one first JJ tube must be working because it's hot. And yeah, I think we're ready to blow another fuse. readily. Let's just turn the volume down a bit in case the improbable happens. And a boom. No boom. And no fuses blowing. Okay. That is so interesting. Let's check the bias. -71. I'll check most of the resistors and capacitors that I could check in circuit. And then I decided to just replace the first two CAN capacitors. These two. Yeah, first cap reads like 140 picofarads. Second one is on spec. It seems like the first one took most of the heat from the high voltage. Okay, speaker connected. We're gonna see some light, I'm sure. Ah. It really just glows very... Yeah, against the light. Okay. I only have 2 power tubes installed. Yeah. Outer ones, yes. I better keep the camera on the tubes. We got filament voltage. Yeah. But always in that tube. Is it the tube? Is it the socket? Checking the middle two positions. Current limiter does light up a little bit. No arcing. That's... oh. That's like kind of nice. Right? We got some sound. I think we do. Yeah. Problem with the presence knob? Can we get more treble? Still a bit dark. High treble. pot. Yeah, but that's what he likes. And this pot is loose, it's ungrounded, we'll have to fix it. It's now running off 4 valves, 4 tubes, and I resorted to very rattly old Softex. So all 4 of them are Softex. I completely ignored the JJs, and I will not be buying those ever again. I had too many problems with them. We got a bit more reaction from the current limiter with 4 tubes installed. But we do have sound, but very crackly shit. Maybe coupling caps are not so good, seem to be very old. If they're, I think they have smaller denominations and date codes going like they may even be late 60s, Nick 69 or something. I'm still very much confused about the heritage of this amp because it doesn't have anything as model-wise indicated on the front plate. It also has power transformers that I have not seen before in other London City amps that seem to look similar. Also, I've never seen one with silver knobs, so these may have been borrowed from some stereo. I'm also surprised that there is no resistor in line with the pilot light. I might fix that, and maybe that's part of the loss. But for now it's working. A big problem with the presence control negative feedback loop. I can completely kill it like this. It's not completely silent now, but there's a bad connection here, dirty pot. So we'll have a bit of fun stuff to do for now. Also if I turn on max and I turn it off, no pop at all. Well, I put in a new pot. I thought it was a 250K that was in there, but it is a 1 meg log B. That's like linear B. B is linear, A is logarithmic. Anyways, made in UK. It's got a name on it. Omeg. It is the original pot. It's exactly as the others, but the value is absolutely wrong. The schematic that I see online says 5K for the presence pot on this amp. I checked the Marshall Super Lead schematic, same thing. Says also 5K, so I put in a big Alpha 5K. Well, the presence pot had a like strange response in the beginning, but the current limiter wasn't lit at all. almost, just a tiny bit, and then we heard a pop, and then we got this amount of light from the current limiter, and now the present spot is completely inactive. So I don't know, it seems to be that there's a short to ground through the cap still, and I'm still going to replace that capacitor because we have no roll-off. Does nothing. Check it again. Okay, I soldered the capacitor on the wrong side of the pot. Well, one discovery. The treble pot, that's bass. Treble pot should be 250K, as it was in the Marshall. 1 meg. Mid pot should be 20K, 25K. 1 meg. Presence control should have been 5K. It was 1 meg. Hey, just another day at the factory. There's still some a fair amount of hum, and it's much louder, but I think this is because a whole bunch of gain has been reintroduced to the circuit due to putting in the right value of pots. The 1 megs were too big, and you can always calculate the loss of your Tonestack by looking at the resistance that's in the circuit. Reducing the 1 meg pots gave us a whole lot more gain, more effectiveness on especially on the middle pot, treble and bass. Yeah, it's a bit late now to really rock out, but we still have a bit of light on the current limiter, but that might actually be normal. I just turned it on this morning, and it's actually kind of quiet, absolutely quiet. This is halfway. It's only noisy with the... Check it out. Just like, whoa. Yeah. That's the presence control. Maybe still a bit of static, still a bit of DC. But I was focusing on the bias circuit because my probe's connected. No, my probe's not connected. Left. Okay, more little details. The lower two jacks, which are in fact the top two jacks, if you turn the amp around, of course, the switches on the input jacks were worn out and they were no longer making contact with ground, which is what's supposed to happen when they're not plugged in. That's all the noise we get. Channel 1, full blast. When I turn it to 0, nothing. So I don't know what happened to my 120 cycle hum. This one's even better, but it's probably because the filtering is different. If they're still a bit scratchy, it's probably because the coupling caps are not perfect. I think I already measured them. Those had like a 2% loss. I might have to replace them, see if it improves the noise. Here are the first stage coupling caps. They come off the plates and go directly to the volume pot. They look okay, they measure perfect, but they're bad still. We had some crackling on the volume controls. And that's all gone. And this is a 100-watt amp on full volume. There's no noise, hardly anything. That's a 100-watt full blast. I've already replaced this capacitor, double capacitor, one underneath the board, and with a bias capacitor, but I still want to replace the other CAN capacitor, so we'll have to take off the complete board and disconnect most of the wiring going to the tubes. That will be the easiest. There's more wires going this way to the controls. Okay. Also, put the fuse holder on the outside.
Rock and roll can never save your soul, can never set you free from harm. You better grab my arm, rock and roll, can never save your soul, can never set you free the way you wanna be. Rock and roll can never save your soul, never set you free from harm. Then grab my arm and hold on tight. Well, we got all night. Yeah, don't got me down to break. Rock and roll can never save your soul, can never set you free from harm. Got all night, my little lady. I got all night just to bear that dog. That dog on rock and roll can never save your soul.